So we're in South Bank this morning and we're going to do another little Q&A video in the Coffee with Carissa group. I asked a bunch of if anyone had any things that they wanted help with this week regarding business in general or marketing and sales and that kind of stuff. I think there's a bunch of questions to go through, so we'll have a look. We've got 16 comments, so I'll just go through and see what... There was one question that I did know that I liked the sound of. Someone said time management, but that's not really a specific question, so in future please ask me specifically what you would like to know about time management. Sales, Lisa says I'm crap, lol. I always think that they can't afford it, so any tips would be great. And this is something that I've talked about before, and it's exactly like so many people do this, or they price themselves really cheap, or they don't try and sell anything to anyone, or they don't offer anything to anyone because they are kind of broke themselves, or they're in this like scarcity mentality and they kind of just assume that nobody else has any money either, which is completely false. And I think when you are focused on the money side of things, like this is how much it costs, it puts you off. So my best tip in regards to selling more things is not so much trying to sell people things, it's more offering them something and giving them the opportunity to say yes or no and being okay with it either way. That really helps. And just not to try and think that everybody else is in the exact same financial situation as you, because they're not, whether you have lots of money or whether you don't. Politely offering someone something that they might need or want is totally fine. And if you're okay with them, if you prepare yourself for them to say no and you're not trying to push it down their throat, then that's definitely the best sales tip. Like if someone says they're not interested in something that I do, I'll just be like, cool, someone else is. Jess, staff management and how to politely say no to things that won't grow your business. Okay, that's two separate questions, so I'll go with the no one. Well, first you've just got to identify the things that don't grow your business and make what I like to call a not to do list. So if you write down a list of things that you're currently doing in your life or business for other people that isn't taking you further towards you want to be, write down a list of, no, right, I'm not going to do these things anymore, and then next time someone asks you to do them, yeah, you just have to say, sorry, I'm too busy or I can't do that. You can even look for someone else to refer them to. Peter says, how did you make the transition from working in your business to stepping out of the business and working on it? And how did you deal with clients who only want you? I didn't want to work in the business anymore, and I think it gets to that point, like you have to want it. Some people want to stay working in the business. Some people talk about wanting things, but they don't actually want them. I wanted to be the business owner, not the business operator, and that's what I enjoy most. So I made a decision that, you know, they got to a point where I'm like, I'm not going to do the work anymore. If people want me, they can't have me, and they're going to have to go to one of my staff members instead. And there's a really lovely way of doing it, as long as they if you personally introduce them to the staff member and talk them up and make them sound really nice. And if that staff member has done, like let's say you're in a hair salon and that staff member has done your hair or other customers' hair, you know, tell them that, like, this person is the one that I trust to do my hair, so she can definitely look after you. You know, just I'm going to, and you don't give them the choice. You don't say like, you know, would you like to see this person today, otherwise I can fit you in later. You say, I can only fit you in with so and so this time, she's going to look after you, blah blah blah. And you just have to make that transition, like otherwise you'll never get out of it. You've just got to do it. New clients won't know the difference if you start giving them your staff members from the first appointment or the first interaction with your company. So you kind of phase yourself out of it. You don't just, I didn't kind of just stop completely. Although you can do that too, and it's really good if you actually get sick or go on a holiday, because then that forces you to do it. So could book a holiday, go away for a month, then they have to see your staff. Angela says, how do you re-motivate yourself when things start to slow down a bit? Well, it kind of goes through phases. So, I mean, I go through what I call business bipolar, where I have my like manic on sessions and I'm super motivated, and then I have my depression down stages where nothing happens. But I kind of just go with the flow with that, and it works. I feel like if you're not motivated, you actually need to stop forcing things, let yourself have a break. And then what happens is I start to get bored of having a break and not doing anything. anything, and I'll generally have a new idea or something that'll spark the motivation again. Also reading books, learning new things tends to really motivate me. So yeah, YouTube videos or reading books or audiobooks or taking a new course, learning something new. What does Maddie says, how much are we supposed to pay with tax and GST? I can't answer that, but you need to get an accountant if you're asking that. The PayPal deposit thingy. I've always used PayPal to get deposits and take payments directly through my website. That's something that I will be doing a training on inside the course, and a nice spiel so that they understand why they get charged a deposit fee. I don't think it's something that you necessarily need to explain, to be honest. All serious customers will be totally happy to pay a deposit. If they can't see the value in paying a deposit, or if they won't pay it from the start, they're generally not the type of customers that you want, and they're the ones that are not going to show up anyway. So just get in the habit of saying, we require a deposit to cover our time in case of no-shows or something like that. Serious clients will pay it, you just have to ask for it, they'll pay it. Nikki asked about customer awareness. So that's something that I talk about and teach a little bit in my course, and that's also just to do with knowing who your ideal customers are, and customer awareness. She says she doesn't understand it. It's basically, are you talking to someone who already knows what you do, or are you talking to someone who has no idea about your products or services and has never used them before? It's basically just knowing what to say to that person depending on how aware they are of your product or service. I think that's the easiest way to explain it. And just to touch quickly on sales again from Lisa's note, I like to never think about sales as actually selling or trying to sell. I like to think of it as though you're trying to help people. If you focus on what they get out of your product and service and not about the money that you want to make from it, one, they're more likely to buy from you, and two, it makes it feel better coming from you because you're genuinely focused on trying to help them, not just trying to get their money. Time management, I'll give you a quick time management tip. First of all, you have to know where your time is going in order to manage it. So start tracking it. I do what I like to call a time audit. You write down where all your time goes every day for a week, and then be real with yourself and go, look, I just wasted 6 hours on Facebook. I need to stop doing that. Yeah, and pay attention to where your time is being spent, where it's actually improving your life and business and where it's not, and just start cutting that out.